guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video we are going to talk about Lady Shree Ram College. Of course, it is one of the most famous college in Delhi University and you all know about it. And today we have Ananya over here who will be helping us to know everything about the college. So let's get started. Hi Ananya, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am good too. So yes, could you please introduce yourself?
Right. So I graduated from LSR last year from the batch of 2022. I studied English literature and I also have a minor in economics. So my 3 years at LSR were so amazing, and that's why when you reached out and asked me to come and speak here, I I think I was honored because there's nothing more that I love more than my alma mater, and LSR, the 3 years at LSR were absolutely beautiful. So I would love nothing more to talk more about it and help others understand this.
So what exactly is the admission criteria of the college? Because of course it is the top college in Delhi University and everyone wants to be a part of it. And also nowadays CUET has came in for people to give exam. So what's the cutoff for CUET to get into this college, and how does it work?
Right. So when I joined back in 2019, it was purely basis your board percentage. So I got in because of my board percentage, but now they have started the CUET thing, right? So still the process is quite smooth. Even the Delhi University website has a chat box, so that way it's quite hassle free, and there's an email that you can write to in case you have any questions. In terms of cutoff, it's pretty straightforward. A whole list comes out in terms of for LSR specifically after the CUET exam has happened. So you can once you've given the exam and the results come out, you can directly go on the college website when they release the cutoff, and you can see if you've cleared it or not. And then of course the cutoff is different for different courses depending on what you want to pursue. And of course there's quota as well. There's ECA quota, and then there's other SC, OBC, all of that. So depending on whatever the course that you want to pursue, the background that you come from, also board percentage is also, like, at the end of the day, it does matter. So the process is still very holistic in that way. But of course, after the introduction of CUET, it has become more standardized. So for starters, LSR was always my dream college. When I was in 12th standard, it was one of my top colleges, one of my top choices. And when my board percentage came out and I realized that I've made it to the cutoff, I was pretty happy. And I had visited other colleges also, your Hindu, Miranda, but LSR was always my top choice. But I think when I got into LSR, it was way different, because initially I had thought that it would be the college of my dreams, right? And it was, but suddenly you realize that you're amidst these people who are these brilliant women from all across the country, and everyone's the top of the class. Everyone's just great at what they're doing. Everyone's great at their extracurriculars, and it's obvious for you to feel a little lost, right? But I think as the course progressed, as I spent more time at LSR, I realized that LSR is not about finding spaces to fit in. It's more about creating your own space. And LSR is not. It's not just a college. I think, you heard a lot about people saying that, there's LSR is magic. There's magic in its red walls, but I don't think so. The magic is in the red walls. I think it's more about the people that make the college what it is. The professors, the dogs, and of course the brilliant women that study there. And also the bhaiyas, the didis, the cafe wale bhaiya, and even the security guards. I think there's one very famous Rinku bhaiya who is our photocopy wala bhaiya, and he's just the sweetest person you'll ever meet. So I think all of them collectively come together to make LSR what it is, to make you feel at home, to make you feel belonged and heard. I think that is one of the most important things that LSR did for me. Before coming to LSR back in school, I was just this shy kid and I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I still don't. And I think all of us are trying to figure out what we want to do. But I think LSR brings you one step closer to embracing who you are, and it shows you who you can be. It allows you to dream, it allows you to hope. But coming back to your original question, so my course was English literature, as I mentioned. So it was great in terms of professors. The classes were very organized. Of course, I was also a part of the COVID batch, so I could only spend the initial 8-9 months in college, and then we switched to the online mode. But I came back to college in my third year for a couple months again, for the last semester. Yeah.
What was the cutoff when you were in college, and also what was the batch size of the college? Batch size of for your course?
Right. So the cutoff during my time was your board percentage, and I think for my course it was around 98%. Yeah, and that was of course your best 4 subjects, right? Like English compulsory, and then your other best 3. So that was it. And the batch size was about, so there were 2 sections for my course. I think that was pretty much the same for other courses as well. I think political science had a larger batch, so it had like 3-4 sections, but English literature had like 2 sections, and each of the sections had like 50 to 60 people each.
Oh, wonderful. And what about the extracurricular activities? Like, were there any societies wherein you can participate, and were they active? And yeah.
Yeah, I think societies were the best part of LSR. So this again, I think not just LSR, DU in general is known for its societies. So I was a part of the dramatic society, the DramSoc.
Me
but there are
too.
other societies.
In my college.
Wow!
Yeah.
Oh, how nice!
Yeah.
Right. So you know how the craze, right, and how drilling it is. The practices, the long hours, and I was a part of the stage theatre, but there was Nukkad as well. And I still remember when they used to perform, and everybody would just gather in a circle. And there's just so much energy, so much passion in these people, which just used to amaze me. There were other societies as well, like your dance society, your Western music society, Indian music society, economics society, and then there's this other entrepreneurship cell, and tons of other things. So basically, I think whatever calling, whatever passion, whatever hobby you had, LSR had a place for you.
College was pretty much active in all of the things, so that is wonderful.
Yeah.
And this is the most important question, and everyone wants to know about it. It's about the placements. So how are the placements of the college, and did you got any opportunity of internships during your period of course?
Right. So, answering the placement question first. So, whoever sits for placements usually gets placed. Of course, it also depends on your like how well you perform, and your choice of field, your choice of interest. So I sat for placements. So again, the placements are divided. There's a blue company which has a package of, I don't know, but there's different categorization.
Okay.
But basically, I sat for placements, and I got in the company I'm working in right now, DE Shaw. I got placed at DE Shaw through SR. And the packages are thank you. And the packages are pretty great. I think the highest during my batch was like 35 LPA.
Bachelor's degree or for the master's degree?
There is no master's degree at LSR. I think there's only just mostly bachelor's degree, and then there's this postgraduate diploma in peace building conflict that LSR offers. So there are no more master's degree as far as I am aware. So this is for the UG, just for the UG courses. And there are different courses at LSR, economics, English, political science, commerce. There's also BLEd, Bachelor of Elementary Education. I think there's Sanskrit and Hindi as well. And there's statistics, so a whole variety of courses. But in terms of placements purely, I think some of the best companies come for placements, including your Deloitte, DE Shaw, BCG, Bain, these are your consulting companies. But if you are interested in other fields like journalism or like auditing or something like that, so there are companies for that as well. So I think coming back to my original argument, whatever you want to do, LSR will give you the platform to explore that, and then it's really on you as to how you make use of that opportunity.
I think it's that's totally true, because it totally depends on an individual, how he seek opportunities or how he go through it. So is there any average placement criteria, if you know कि average placement कितना होता है for particular course?
Right. Are you asking? Are you referring to criteria or the average placement package?
Average placement package.
Right. I think it really varies from course to course, because, like I said, there are different courses, so you can't really take an average. But of course, I think it's a little higher for like your people who come from your commerce and mathematics background, because they tend to sit for placements more. Versus people who come from arts background, they tend to go for higher studies, or there are these different fellowships like your Young India Fellowship and your Teach for India Fellowship. So tend to go for that. So then you can't really take out an average, because the number of people who go for placements from these backgrounds is a little less. But that being said, I think it should be like around 8 to 10 LPA.
So even bigger colleges can't give such placements. So I think that is a good thing. And so just one last question. So what one advice will you give to students who are planning to be a part of this college? And do you think it's all worth it to just be a part of this college, to stay there for 2 to 3 years and just be there in the vibe?
Right. Anybody who asks me this question, I tell them that LSR is the best thing that you can do to yourself. I think I would like to share this like story that happened to me like a couple days back. So I went back to college it was my convocation. So I ended up going back to college, and I was just like feeling really lost, because a lot of things were happening in my life. And I went back to college, and I ran into one of my professors who's now retiring. And she told me how she plans to now just paint and cook and travel and do gardening. And she told me that no matter where you go, Ananya, and no matter who you become, LSR will always be a home for you. You can always come back here, and you can just live here if you want, or just grab a cup of coffee, meet your teachers, talk to your teachers, talk to the current students, and it will always give you some sort of perspective in life, and you'll never go empty-hearted. And I think that was so true, because I just spent a day in college, and it just reminded me about how much passion, how much ambition there is in this college, just in the red walls, just in the space. And I think it's very important for such women's spaces to exist, because I think a lot of people say that LSR is not a co-ed college, that must be so boring, right? But it's not, because it is actually empowering, it's actually liberating, and it makes you discover a side of yourself which you wouldn't in any other space. No other space, no other college, no other community can give you that. And not just in terms of course academically LSR is great. It will take you to places. The placements are great. Just the college name in itself, it's a brand. It will take you to places, and the alumni base is great as well. But just the values, the principles that the college instills in you, it makes you discover a part of yourself that you didn't know existed. And I think I'd just like to end with this statement, which is the college motto as well, which is Vasudev Kutumbakam, which means that alone is knowledge which leads to liberation. So if you got into LSR, anyone who's listening to it, just go for it. Don't even think twice.
That is wonderful. I have heard the same things from students of Miranda or other DU colleges. So I think DU ka vibe bhi kuch alag hai, and every student is too happy with their colleges. So yeah, I think it was wonderful and it was a great session with you. Of course, everyone who will be watching this video would be would get, you know, real and helpful things from this video, and will get good insights from this. So yeah, thank you so much, Ananya, for being a part of this video.